And welcome back, everybody. We are down one of our players today. Geo is unable to make it, so we will be missing Nimfus. We have and now that's in the recording. So we're going to have a little bit of a shorter session today to kind of wrap up another tail end, kind of forcing it this way. With another little segment that kind of got derailed as the party went to go after Xylith after he was running into the forest outside of Elks Point, and then we got into this whole mercantilary guild and had a little conversation with Sariel, who is the leader of the guild that's underneath of Elks Point. Kind of learned that the whole Elks Point city is, in a way, a bit of a front for this Merc Guild that is kind of contained within the city. There are those that are obviously not as privy to it. Lots of shady business around the continent, the kingdom, more or less, is done here. If anyone needs some maybe kind of unsavory or under the covers type jobs to be done, they kind of learned that this is one of the places that is well known for it. And there's a little connection between Sariel Stormborn and the House of Storms that the party learned about as well. Nimfus has been called by one of the Tabaxi to Sariel to talk a little bit more about the House of Storms, the relationship between his family, the Stormweathers, and Stormborn, and kind of learn a little bit more about what the House of Storms agreement actually means with regards to the party. So you all wake up. You all had, for the most part, a restful night, except for a few of you, just given some of the things that happened over the past evening. Not all of you all, unfortunately, got a full night's rest, but there is a couple more things you all came to Elks Point to do. You all were woken up about the same time that the Tabaxi came by to call for Nimfus's audience. So at this point, what do you all want to do?
Are we aware of why Nimfus is gone, or should we, has Nimfus said goodbye, or has Nimfus gone in the middle of the night?
No, so the Tabaxi came in the morning. Essentially, that's what woke you all up, more or less.
Okay.
And he was summoned. He went, and you all are basically where it was kind of hurry up and get out type of thing. They're still saying, all right, kind of get your stuff and go, but obviously you can come
He'll
back
be fine and catch up with you later. He's got the connection.
Exactly. Yeah.
You guys get out before we change our mind.
They'll send them along once they've had their discussion.
Gotcha.
Probably, yeah. I mean, like I said, we're going to head back into Elks Point, aren't we? We want to see if Charis is still there. I expect, guys. So, why don't we ask
keep us nearby on our
way
out?
I mean, we passed a lot of trapdoors. Why don't we see if there's like a trapdoor that leads very quickly into Elks Point, rather than having to go back the way we came?
Or we follow whatever way they suggest us to go out. We go check on Gerald, and then
oh, good old Gerald! I forgot about Gerald.
That way we can get some privacy before another meeting.
Oh, true.
But doesn't Geo have the symbol with his character? The one that says we're not privy to get hurt by this guild?
Yes.
I think at this point...
But considering
hope.
their network in this town, everyone knows who we are at this point. It's safe to assume.
We would hope.
And you probably get
everyone
the sense too that since it's daytime now, it's probably less likely that you're going to get offed by anybody in this guild.
Oh, thank
Given that how active it was when you all went in there at like midnight.
Okay.
Fair enough.
So yeah, guys, why don't we why don't we head out? Why don't we just see if that Charis bloke, girl, elf thing is still around, and maybe we can salvage some meeting for Alto.
At Julian saying that out loud, Belta would want to look around and see if anybody overheard the name mentioned.
Oh, we were in the private quarters, weren't we?
You're still in. I mean, you're still in your room unless you haven't left yet.
No, we're still in the room. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Like the communal room that we've had, right?
Yes.
Okay. And it's just us, no third parties, as far as we can visually see.
Yeah. As far as who's
Yeah.
in the room, and I mean, the door is shut.
That's what I made sure. Is like, yeah, it was a group sleeping here, but I was making sure there wasn't like, oh hey, like some random person from the guild happened to be passing out or something recently.
Kill him now.
Nope, that will get us killed. Yeah, we should probably
Just head out, yeah. Unless someone wants to do anything, buy anything again.
should probably head out. Be respectful and perhaps check in, make sure our cart and everything and Gerald is still okay before we check in. If we're too late, we're already too late for the potential meeting as it is. But let's keep it under wraps in case they're not part of this.
Very well.
Okay. With that said, you all make it out of the room that you were given for the night. Kind of ask which direction you get to get out. They lead you back into the main hall area where you were, where you got caught up last night. Do you all decide to try to get any breakfast or food here before you head out, or are you just heading straight out?
We can just grab something on the way, something quick.
Off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz.
Absolute.
They've been hospitable enough. Belto's not gonna try to delay our exit. He's ready to just go.
Okay.
Alright.
So it depends on if the other members stop or not.
No,
But
fine.
even if they stop, he's not grabbing anything for now.
Let's go. Maybe we've got enough rations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got 9.
Yeah, we've got enough.
Okay. Who's leading the party out of the guild hall?
Nobody's escorting us out to make sure.
They've.
Yeah.
I mean, you're at the main hall. There's only really one big set of doors out. That's kind of the way that they're showing you that that's the way out.
Okay. So yeah, in that case, Belto will take charge if nobody else does, and just to be like, oh, they're pointing us this way. We will go this way.
Okay.
Yep.
Roll a survival check for me, please, Belto.
Okay. Oh, I am gonna die. How wise am I? 16.
So all the weaving in and out and all the fighting yesterday, you do still have a general idea of where you actually are as far as kind of the Great Hall is compared to the rest of Elks Point. And one part of the tunnel system last night kind of had a gradual incline to it. So where you all had gone down to go into the forest at Elks Point, you all had started to kind of go up, and you actually feel like you kind of maybe got past the main road. And as you get outside, it's about mid-morning at this point. A little still cloudy from the rain the previous night, but the sun's peeking through some clouds, so it's a little bit refreshing, a little humid as you get outside, compared to the dry air from the tunnels. And as you get out, you are still kind of in some of the thick of wood. It's almost like as you get outside, you start to see the exterior stonework of this cathedral or older building that has been taken over by this guild. And you see a couple of paths going off, but one main path that seems to be maybe where if carts need to be brought in, this is the main road. So if you look down this pathway about 300, 400, 500 feet or so out, looks like there's a main patch of road. And if you recall coming into Elks Point, there's basically a main through street and then a street that went up towards the lodging place that you were looking to go to last night, which I think is actually what you had mentioned that you would meet up with Charis.
Yep.
So you go out that way, and once you get to that main part of the road, you look up. There is another building up there. It seems to be some kind of housing or hotel or place to stay. So you can either go up towards that kind of lodging location, or you can go back into Elks Point proper to the southwest,
Gotcha.
going back down the kind of the hill face.
And I believe the lodge was Elk's Head,
Yes.
if I remember correctly.
Yep.
All right. With that context, well, we appear to be this close, since we did all that traveling to where we ended up last night. I believe that should be Elk's Head based off of the descriptions we were given. Do we still want to go to Gerald first, or since we're this close already, see if our acquaintance is still waiting there?
I mean, from the sounds of it, the way we are, that Gerald's probably either long gone or he's still there.
Or somebody spotted him in our little pulling off of the road and maybe took acquisition and brought him back to town. Anything could
Potentially.
happen.
You know what? You guys saved me. Let me go look for Gerald while you guys go and complete what we came here to do.
Oh, great. Splitting the party. Perhaps
Okay.
in pairs to at least have nobody on their own. Or I could go.
Hey, Wilrick,
Charis
you want
on
to
my
come
own.
with me?
Oh, hey!
Oh, hey, a horse.
Yeah. I'll come. See the horse.
Gives a new
I mean,
meaning
we
to
have
oh
our
hey.
belongings and stuff
Oh,
on
hey.
there.
Or I could perhaps see Charis on my own, but I don't want to do that without permission or
I'll
authorization
go.
from the group.
I'll go with thingy over here and go see the horse and carriage.
I guess that means you're with me, Belto.
Very well.
All right.
Try to stay out of trouble, you two, and if you are able to find Gerald in the cart, my suggestion, stay there since we know we're tied up, and hopefully get some time to yourselves to relax for the day. And I'll update everyone as soon as we can.
All right.
I don't like splitting the party, but here we
Come
go.
on, Wilrick.
Bye, have a nice time.
I don't like it either, but I mean, we can kind of get two things done at once. We can get two things done at once.
All right. So Xylith and Wilrick, you both start heading back down towards Elks Point proper. And then Belto and Julian, you all start heading up the path towards Elk's Head. It is a little slippery, as some of the rain from last night has still not been dried off yet from the morning sun. It's a little foggy as you start to get into the lower parts of Elk's Point. But you do make it down into the city.
Brief conversation with Julian on the travel up. If
Okay.
we are out of earshot from people just
Gotcha.
during the travel. Sorry to interrupt.
You're
I
good.
just didn't want you to be like, and you're there.
Gotcha. So as you're coming through the city, it's a little bit quieter than probably you would expect for kind of a mid-morning type thing, but there are people out and about doing things. There's people going to different shops. Different shops are open, some are closed still, but there's a little bit of a stir, but not too much in the city at the moment. As you all get into the main road of things, there's a couple of carts that are going through. One's stopping, one's just kind of traveling through. You all still just moving straight towards Gerald and the cart from where you.
Yeah, we're just gonna like kind of keep our eyes out. Like, I'm not gonna like go Gerald. I'm just not gonna draw like more attention to us. So I'm just gonna kind of be walking like right close to Wilrick, sticking together, and just
Okay.
kind of not make it seem like we're looking for something.
Wilrick, I need you to roll a survival check, please.
I was just saying, I
Okay.
just remembered the
good
one
God.
that knows where the card is the one with the memory issues. I just realized.
10. Okay. Good to know. All right.
Don't worry about it.
So Belto and Julian, as you all start to make your way up this hill, it's probably a good 2-3 of a mile. And as you all are kind of walking uphill and trying to sled, you're going at a slower pace just to make sure you don't slip and fall on anything. It's not a steep grade, but it's definitely enough of one where the sludge from the rain previously makes the road a little bit more difficult to walk than just normal.
I would like to use a bit of the slipperiness as a bit of an excuse to be able to turn around and look behind to make sure we're not being followed.
Okay, roll perception.
Very well. Perception is... Nope, that's persuasion. There it is. Only a 7. I sold the slip a little too hard.
Oh no!
Yeah. As you're going up, you're trying to take a peek back every once in a while, but more focused on trying to make sure you're getting up the hill as you're going up. But every once in a while, you get a glance back. Doesn't seem like anyone's following you. There's a couple of people that are walking up there, but they don't seem to be following you specifically.
Works for me. All right. As for that brief conversation with Julian, if I feel like we're at an earshot and I would talk in a lowered volume, you took one of my surprises rather well, considering your reaction to your mind getting invaded back in Elfrost.
At this point, well, I'm getting kind of used to surprises at this point.
Fortunately, that does seem to be the case with us, doesn't it?
Just a bit.
Well, to be clear, I can only project sentences to people. I cannot read their minds back. I cannot get any responses. It's just a means of discreetly voicing my concerns without being overheard.
It felt different. It wasn't the same as in Elfrost. That was more controlling. Yours was just a conversation.
I appreciate the respect and how well you handled it.
One thing for you, though. What happened? After we gave ourselves up, you completely just shut down. What's going on?
I was expecting us to die. I expected my time to finally come, and I was fighting to the bitter end as well as you were right beside me up there, and it gave me flashbacks to my mission before I met all of you.
Do you think we're going to succeed?
I don't know, but considering what she said yesterday, she knows more than I do. Somehow my and Wilred's destinies are tied, and I don't know how, especially since she called out specifically just the two of us, not the whole group. Just me and Wilred. A holy warrior cleric, and a tiefling that's lost his mind.
If we have any chance of succeeding.
Because of the forgetfulness, Panda.
Okay, I expect... Okay.
If we have any chance of succeeding, you and I have to be strong. As you say, we've got a forgetful tiefling. A guy who cares more about taking notes than anything else. And a dragonborn who somehow gets captured. Both of us have now had instances when we've almost lost our minds. If this group is going to survive, we have to be strong.
All of us, not just you and I.
Who's going to lead if not you or I?
Ooh, you saying for Belto to be a potential lead. Oh, that gets him to shut up and start thinking. Oh.
As y'all continue to
deep sigh and continue on. That was good, Jet. Thank you.
As you all make your way up the hill, you're getting pretty close now. You can see that this is a little bit more well up kept than back down in Elks Point, where Elks Point seems a little bit more drab and a little bit more not well maintained. This place is a little bit higher quality. You actually see some white pillars, almost kind of like fronting the lodging place. All the outside's very well kept. There's actually some gardens out there, flower gardens, and looks like as far as like food goes, they grow their own food up there. So it's almost like while this is really close to Elks Point, it's not quite part of Elks Point. A little bit as far as appearance, and it might just be happenstance that Elks Point kind of was started here, and then this lodging place was here, or maybe there might be some other reason. But it seems a lot more pristine, a lot more not quite as run down as the main Elks Point village is. So for Panda or for Wilrick and Zyla, sorry. As you all are making your way through the street, you get back down to the main part of the street, and you start heading off in the direction that you all came in to Elks Point. It takes a little bit, Panda or Wilrick, sorry, for you to kind of get your bearings based on everything that happened last night. You start to head out of the village, and it looks very different in the daytime than it does at night. So it takes you a little bit to try to figure out where you're actually going to find out where you all actually hopped out of the cart and started going after Xylith last night. It takes you probably the better part of an hour after like getting outside of Elks Point, because you all took a bit of time to get outside of Elks Point before you went into the woods. But eventually you do manage to find the cart. It's still there in one piece, and thankfully Gerald is also still there.
Hey!
And it looks
awesome.
like someone actually put a little bucket and filled it with water and another bucket with food for Gerald. So someone was kind enough to take care of Gerald while you were away.
In this fucking place? Who's doing that?
Somehow, yeah.
You know what? These people aren't that bad.
I'm gonna run up to Gerald and give him a hug.
Aw.
Gerald!
Ah, Dragonborn!
It's the one that caused me to
Gerald
be on
Lock.
fire.
After some time, once you get close, Gerald is a little spooked at the beginning, but since you have kind of gotten used to Gerald figures out, oh, it's okay, it's you. It's you. I feel comfortable around you. I'm good. It's you. So everything seems to be in order. As you get to the area, anything you want to do while you get there? Just get Gerald and go.
I think we should just bring him back. Yeah.
Well,
bring him back.
are we staying? Because were we waiting for Julian and Belton?
Well, because we're outside of Elks Point right now, right?
Yes, you're back down. You're
Yeah.
back out towards the west, where the main part of the road comes in. Yeah.
Well, we were meant to meet up with Belto here and Julian.
Right, yeah, he did say stay. Okay.
We stay.
We'll hang out there. We'll just let Gerald eat and do his thing.
Okay.
Take a shit.
Any
game, sorry.
any investigation
security.
checks to see if anything's been stolen or?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I'll have an investigation.
All right. Go ahead and do an investigation check for me then, please.
I'm just gonna keep petting Gerald.
14. Okay. It seems like everything was left relatively untouched as far as you can tell. There's been a couple of things that have gotten wet just from the rain the previous night, so things might have to be dried out a little bit, especially since the covering burned from the previous night. But other than that, it seems like everything is still there.
Awesome. I don't know what else I could do, so I'll just sit down in a car or whatever there is to sit down on.
Okay. So you all stay there?
Are you hungry, Ulrich?
Nah, I'm fine. I just need sleep.
You can sleep at the back of the car. I'll keep watch. I'll stay here with Gerald.
Live, you got a good night's sleep, didn't you? Yeah,
I did,
and
yes.
Will didn't. So.
No. But then all you hear is a thud, and then I'm just lying back in the cart.
Oh, actually, that reminds me. Yeah, okay. Actually, roll it. I need you to roll that investigation check again. Because technically you're rolling at disadvantage because of exhaustion.
So,
Okay, well, outcome would have been the same. Right.
He does have a +7 after all.
yeah. So imagine if I got a nat 20. Now that'll be some right investigation.
It's just like it's like that.
Some pulls out a magnifying glass.
It's like that meme with like the guy like his head like exploding like what sees everything.
Indubitably.
That's not the mastermind road.
All right, Belto and Julian, you all make your way up to the entrance of Elk's Head, and there's a row of, it looks like stalls and places for carts to be tied up. There's a couple of horses and one looks like carriage that's anchored up here. Not sure if it's someone that is staying or if it's just on reserve for people who need it, but you all make it up to the entrance. It's a grand opening that actually has hedges on either side that kind of lines, it looks like the perimeter of this establishment, and a nice little archway in the front. As you all make your way into the opening courtyard area, you see a water fountain. There's some other flower beds and gardens, and it seems like this place is very well kept. Again, for how close it is to Elk's Point, it's kind of very odd that this is kind of out here and exists a little bit. As you all go in, you're greeted by the reception at this place, and it's like, yes, good morning to you two gentlemen. Are you looking for a place to eat or a place to stay, or what's your business?
Perhaps eat for the moment, and then we'll bring some to our companions out by the road, getting ready for us to leave. We heard about this place and wanted to check it out and see what the clientele was like before we decide what we're doing tomorrow.
I see. Are you looking to possibly look for a room tonight, or are you just here for a morning meal?
Just the morning meal for now, I believe. Just looking to Julian like, probably, yeah.
Yeah, I'm hungry.
Right. Well, we'd be happy to seat you. We do have some tables open this morning. It is thankfully not quite as busy today, but follow me.
Yep. And Julian will just hear in his head real quickly, I still unfortunately have no gold. Whatever you pay, I will owe you.
Just Julian just acknowledges, just like,
yep,
yeah,
just a nod.
Just a heard.
Yep.
All right. The gentleman walks over and shows you all to a table. It's a nice little kind of small coffee table type place. This is very much just kind of, it looks like it's specifically meant for kind of a breakfast type setting. And the person's like, are you looking for some kind of a custom order, or would you like to look at what the chef is offering today?
Plus Julian, since he has the coin purse.
Something that something good for now, but something that we'll keep and we can take away for our friends.
You have other people coming today, or?
They won't be here, but we'll be bringing them some food. So we'd like to take some food away.
I see. But we don't do takeout. But if you all have your own,
we'll manage on our own.
I see.
The leftovers.
Yeah, just a doggy bag. Forgive the pun.
I see. Well, I can offer you some pastries to take with you.
That would be wonderful.
They would be additional to the meal, but we have quite an exquisite breakfast for you all. That we have some quail with some poached egg. And some nice.
This is a super fancy place.
You're getting the sense that this is.
I'm gonna owe Julian a lot.
A well-up establishment.
What the hell?
With a nice sausage and hollandaise sauce with some fresh picked fruits and vegetables from our garden this morning.
That sounds great. Yeah, sure.
Exquisite quality. he says with like a sweat drop.
It's like, would you like anything to drink?
Just the water.
Yep. Water's fine.
There's already waters on the table. Like, very well.
Yep.
I will put the orders in with the chef. It will be out in about 15 minutes.
And as they're walking away, Belto will just give Julian a stare and just like the mental telepathy again. I'm sorry.
Junior just stares back and just rolls his eyes up.
But then attempt to survey to see if there's any sign of Charis in the morning.
Go ahead and roll perception. At disadvantage because you're exhausted.
All right. I forgot I was part of that.
Mm-hmm.
Both of you all are. 9 and 11. Okay.
7.
There's a few other patrons here as well. There is one other person that's sitting alone and another couple. Looks like they're here they're all giddy and everything. So it looks like it's probably some kind of special occasion for them. And then another individual off by themselves at the moment. They're seated at other places around the restaurant, so they're not very close. And other than the couple that's kind of being ostensibly loud and lovey-feely and whatnot, the other person seems to be minding their own business. Looks like they have some kind of ledger or notebook that they're going through and looking through things.
Especially since like we seem to be seated away from a handful of other people just speaking aloud and taking a sip of the water. I see one potential person that could be Charis, but I'm not certain. Hopefully he plots me and we're able to have the discussion. Can you see him? And I'll like give a slight nod in the rough direction for hopefully providing the help action for Julian to have advantage on H-Chat to mitigate that.
Yeah, I mean,
that's allowed.
Yes, I would like to roll perception if I to basically see if I can see anyone. Sorry.
Since you're rolling separate, I'm going to say no on the help action. But
well, I
said if allowed.
But it depends.
You get a flat roll. You get a flat roll because you're disadvantaged plus advantage, so it cancels.
That's what the advantage would have provided.
Yeah. So you get a flat roll.
Oh, great! Well, that's amazing.
8.
Oh, 8. Okay. Oh, I thought I got the 1 for a second. At least it's 8. But yeah.
You look over at the individual. Yeah, you can't get a good, quite a good look on them, and especially since you didn't particularly look like we're looking for him specifically last night. You're not entirely sure.
Okay.
All right. Well, with that, I think we'll basically be waiting for the food, but Belta will occasionally give looks over in that individual's direction, since it seems to be just the couple, the individual, and then just other small pairs. It sounded like you said.
There's another couple that's already seated at the moment, but no one else at this time.
Okay. So it's just the loud couple and then the individual.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for the clarification.
And with it being later in the morning, you have a feeling it's probably close to the end of what might be considered breakfast serving time.
Yep.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. 15 minutes
wait
or
for
so.
the food, see if the individual does anything with his presence here.
Yep. 15 minutes or so goes by, and you all get these steaming plates of really good, delicious food delivered to the table, along with 2 separate platters of different pastries that also look like they were like freshly baked or made that morning. They might not be quite the freshest since the pastries may have been made earlier in the morning, but they still look like they're made that day.
Considering our traveling experiences and standards, high class.
Very high class. Yeah. It's like, I hope you all enjoy your meal.
Certainly will. Internal panic of the cost of this.
And it bows out and walks away. Need you both to roll another perception check for me, please.
At disadvantage.
7, 9. Fuck me.
14.
Yeah, well, that's something.
Shortly into you all eating your meal, you notice an individual walk by the main reception desk that seems to match the profile of what you remember Charis being last night.
Mm-hmm. But walking by and seeing them, do they happen to be looking our direction at all, or?
It looks like right now they're talking with the receptionist.
Okay. I don't want to interrupt, but their conversation. But I think that might be Charis talking to the receptionist now. I'm not certain. Hopefully, they'll be observant enough to notice us.
Why don't I go to the toilet and see if you can, and I can make some noise whilst going to the toilet. See if I can get him over.
Hopefully not too much noise. Don't need to draw too much unnecessary attention to yourself in a fancy place like this.
Oh, no. I meant like I could go to the reception and ask where the bathroom is. And hopefully.
Yep. And then figure out whether paying the server afterwards or paying the tab up there, since we'll be taking what we don't need to go.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so Julian, you stand up and go over to the reception area.
Mm-hmm.
How are you proceeding with this?
The
person that looks like Charis is talking with the receptionist. Looks like they're about to conclude talking with them.
Julian is going to initially wait. He's not going to interrupt the conversation. But when there's a pause that is an obvious pause, Julian will come and say,
"Look, I'm really, really sorry to disturb you. I really need to go to the bathroom. My friend is still over there, so I'm not doing a run."
Directly pointing towards Belter in the hope that Charis will look that direction.
And then, "I just really need to go to the bathroom right now. Is there any way? Do not worry. We're not doing a run out. My friend is still over there. I just really, really need to go. I'm really sorry."
Not a problem. If you go right around the corner and down the hall, you will find stalls down there.
Thank you so much.
And Julian heads off.
Charis does look in your direction, Belto.
I will be watching and just give a little for the hey, I see you. Ready for a meeting.
Okay. He sees you, and he gives you a nod and walks outside.
Okay. With that, I will wait for Julian to take care of business and return.
Julian does not take long, because Julian did not need to use the bathroom. Julian comes back round, looks back towards where Belto is, does not see Belto, does not see Charis, and say,
"No, I'm still at the table."
No, Belto's still there.
Oh, sorry. Does not see Belto with Charis. Sorry.
I'm not faking your whole thing with the whole walking away thing. It's the tiny dash going on.
Looks back, is concerned that Charis is not sitting with Belto, and just turns to the reception and says,
So I'd like to settle up the bill if possible right now, please.
Oh, certainly. That'll be 10 gold, please.
Julian hands over 12 gold, and says,
"For yourself, the extra."
Oh, well, thank you kindly. He pulls out a drawer and puts the 10 gold away, and puts the 2 gold to the side, and says, well, thank you for dining with us this morning. If there's you mentioned if you come back this evening, please let us know. We do have a couple of rooms available. They have been going quick in the season, so would recommend you all come back sooner rather than later before they're taken if you decide to stay with us tonight.
Of course, thank you so much.
Issues to Belto fast to leave, saying it's all good. And
when Belto sees him paying, he's gonna take out the bucket that's normally for the water that's clean, and just be like, okay, well, I don't have any better way to transport this since they're not providing the to-go stuff. So he's having to be like.
So you're putting Julian's barely eaten meal and your half.
No, I'm not putting Julian's. I'm not putting Julian's. I'm putting my
Okay.
portion and what's being given to the others.
Okay, so you're taking that. Julian will go back and
I'll leave
sit down
yours on there as your.
Julian's going to go back and basically say,
Go now.
He's outside.
But Julian's just going to go sit back
just head out. I'll catch up with you.
No worries, that's fine.
Very well. And he's gonna reattach the bucket and shyly head out because it's like I hate doing the bucket in the fancy place.
The reception takes a look at you and has a very plain
leftovers for the friends. Unfortunately, don't have a better way to transport it myself, but what works for us.
I see. Well, I hope they enjoy.
It was delicious.
Kind of giving you as like a thing.
Yep.
As you walk
outside.
Yeah. As you walk out the front of the building, you take a look around. Initially, you don't see him. Roll another perception check for me, please.
At disadvantage. 9.
It takes you a little bit of time just because of the open courtyard and how the place is laid out. It takes you maybe 5 or 10 minutes to actually locate where Charis is, and he's actually over just kind of not deliberately hiding, but kind of staking to the shadows over by the stables area.
Okay. I'll just keep an eye out, but head over that direction.
Okay. You make your way over to him. As he hears you approach, he looks up and acknowledges you. It's like, I see you missed our meeting last night.
I apologize for that. We had one of our friends, as you might have witnessed a small bit of it. They ended up getting captured. We attempted to rescue them, but things did not go the smoothest, and now my group and I are loosely associated with the mercantillery, if you're familiar with them.
Oh, you've managed to band yourself with that lot, have you?
For survival and fortune, seems to be the case. Not exactly members, but associates for our lives.
Well, I can appreciate needing to make certain associations to get some things done, so just be careful with your associations.
I wasn't sure if you were with them, so I made sure to just mention we were on our way to our own business, so as far as I can tell, I have not been followed, but I cannot say for certain. But I wasn't sure if you were part of this underground association that seems to have this entire place under their thumb.
Well, I must ask you, before we engage in any other business, I seem to have lost a bit of my memory from the previous night. That my Yes, apparently I had a run-in with some tiefling who was drunk. And
yes. He went over and pretty much just to try to get the name before I would approach, just to make sure we wouldn't approach the wrong person, given the seediness that we were seeing from the town, and we weren't sure what your allegiances were. We were merely told to seek you out. I do not know what could have caused this memory loss.
Is this tiefling part of your traveling band of mercs?
He is indeed. He says, especially being like, oh, great, we're seeing his mercs now. Great.
Is it your custom to erase the memories of those that you intend to meet up with?
No, this is the first I'm hearing of any memory erasure.
Well, I can't quite be forthright with you, given the events that have led to our meeting. But I
understand absolutely.
But I understand there is some that you've been sent from Elfrost from Nasri, which has some bearing in that.
Apologies for dropping the name with your company that was not supposed to be privy to it.
Yes, let's try to keep that on the down low from now on. I'm still not entirely comfortable myself with this arrangement. If this is the company in which Nasre has entrusted information being gathered. Nonetheless, what is it that you are seeking?
Information regarding the Rad Shard.
This fool's errand that Nasre has me on seems to finally be bearing some fruit.
Ooh. Above name. Ooh. This journey might have been worth it after all.
I feel like I've been on a wild goose chase for the past couple of years, it feels like, looking for this stupid artifact.
That's
But-
how it sounded when he phrased it.
But my orc companion that you saw me with last night seems to be running across some similar descriptions that seem to coincide with how the rat shard's been described in other lore around this area, and especially among the Mercantile Guild. I've not been able to get the full sense of what this might entail fully. I'm still working with building those bridges and connections, as I'm sure you are most well aware of. This kind of secrecy must be held close to the chest.
Of course. That's why I called it a treasure hunt last night.
I see. Well, as you're probably aware of, I'm not sure what Nazare has told you, but there's definitely quite a few ears being perked at the name of the Radshar, more so now than there has been over the past couple of years since I've been looking into this. With more eyes and attention on it, it seems more and more possible that whatever this object is, if it even is an actual thing, is worth more time and research into whether it does exist or whether or not it's just some kind of power that we need to be aware of or ready for. Not sure which at this point. Has Nazare given you any information to possibly correlate with my findings?
Fuck. Notes. Which notes? Crap, what date was that? I should have prepared better.
You knew you were going to meet Charis, possibly. Somewhere back in those notes exists something.
Yep. Damn it. That was a private meeting, not the...
Well, we'll come back to that.
Afterwards.
We'll check up
Sorry.
on Xylith and Wilrick in the meantime.
Thank you.
So, as you're kind of just sitting there resting, Xylith, you've taken time to kind of reassure Gerald that, yeah, everything is okay. We didn't leave you alone for too long. It's all part of the plan, or whatever you decide to tell Gerald. As you all are kind of sitting there, there are several different parties that go by. Go ahead and roll a perception for me. Okay.
Lovely.
At this point, you're just sitting there and waiting for Belto and Julian to show up at some point.
Just happily in my own world.
Yep.
Did you see the little draconic conversation that me and Wilrick were having?
Oh no, I didn't. Hang on, let me go check on that real quick.
Yeah. So that happened.
Oh, y'all are being cute with cheese.
Basically, I was just whispering different kinds of cheeses
While
to
he was
Ulrich as
sleeping?
he slept to make sure he gets a
Yes,
good
let's
sleep.
make it a canon event. Let's make it a canon event. I'm whispering, cheese,
So
cheese.
Sariel, while you're resting there, you kind of go in and out, and actually, roll a wisdom check for me. At disadvantage because you're exhausted.
Oh,
Okay, that's it. That's all right.
okay.
Okay. So you're not quite getting to sleep. You're kind of in and out of sleep a little bit, but there's definitely a few times that you wake up and certain objects look like blocks of cheese. like for a split second. Like you blink and the effect is gone, but like a crate looks like a box of cheddar, the wheel looks like a block of Parmesan. Some loose clothes look like shredded cheese.
Even better.
And it's just like a quick glance and it's gone. But
I sit up, go into my pocket and pull out what is ever left in crumbs of the block of cheese I had from my adventure.
you got some cheese. It's a little
It's old.
little crummy. Might not be the freshest cheese, but it's all right. It's all right.
Oh goodness.
Uh,
But it's been about 30 minutes to an hour. While y'all are still waiting on Julian and Belto to make their way back. Did you find your notes, Belto?
Yep. Not
Okay.
much to work with. But just making that for quick note. So I got one piece at least, and beyond just trying to find him. So when you're ready to cut back, just let me know.
Yeah. So what information has Nazare given you to correlate with any of my findings?
The only information he gave me directly was that the Starma had foretold of the powers of the ancient past, which is presumably supposed to be this red shard, and that it's unknown to me whether or not it exists, but especially given your evidence, it seems feasible. Beyond that, he mostly just told me to look for the tainted hoof, look for a person named Charis, and that information has been trickling to him from elves such as yourself that are out on these deployments. There was as you saw with our party, we're not exactly the best at making proper discussions, so we're kind of having to prove ourselves despite somehow the group being foretold. I don't know if it was by the Starma or by another entity, but of the group's arrival, they were expected in Elfrost, and they came to Elfrost seeking the Rad Shard. I do not know the origins of them seeking it. As far as I can tell, it's just a tale that they heard and united to start and search for as a group.
I see. Well, the only piece of information I think I really have to add to anything that might be worthwhile to Nazare. We've been dealing with some orcs incursions lately, some other incidences in other parts of elven lands within this kingdom, and still trying to get to the bottom of whether or not the orc incursions have any relation to this rat shard appearance, or being more commonly thrown out term now than it has been before, or if the orc uprising that we are seeing is more of a distraction. It's been hard to tell at this juncture whether they're related or separate incidents, but that's all I can really say at this point.
Very well. Yeah, did there did seem to be a number of incursions. When I first met the group, it was from being deployed by the council to helping Hinkdale with an incursion report. But by the time I got there and I met the party, they had already taken care of the incursion themselves.
It does seem to be quite a concerning detail, and while I may look friendly with the orc that you saw me with last night, this is definitely purely for professional reasons.
Understood.
I'm sorry I wasn't able to give you more.
Very well. It was merely a lead for us to follow up on behalf of Nazare, as well as our own interest in seeing what we can find in this regard. So, thank you. Stay safe, and may your efforts be fruitful.
And may yours as well.
Thank you.
About this time, Julian walks out the front, and you see him come out. Julian, you see Charis walking out towards the front of the establishment, and Belto's off by the stables.
He's a little bit lost in thought, but just takes a couple steps away from the stables to make sure, like, no horse is like, oh, hey, free food in the bucket. Oh.
You're far enough away from the horses that they're not getting to the bucket.
Okay, Julian surveys the area and kind of wants to just assess the situation to start with, because obviously, he sees Belto but doesn't see Charis or anything, so I'd like to just basically assess what's going on first.
If I'm not too lost in notice, yeah, I'll motion of, hey, we can go.
Nothing else seems to be around at the moment.
Okay, that's cool. Then Julian will walk over to Belto, and they're like,
"You done? Everything's good?"
Yes. Unfortunately, not much information, but at least some corroboration and confirmation on a few things. We'll walk and talk.
Sounds good. Let's go.
All right.
All right. As you make your way back down the main road that goes into Elks Point proper, you look off, you see again the road that goes over to the Merc Guild, and you make your way back into town. It's a little bit closer to maybe lunchtime. There's a little bit more hustle and bustle going about. People going to different shops. Looks like carts are coming in and out to deliver goods or to trade. You all want to do anything in Elks Point before you all head out the way you came in?
I want to go meet the party. Unless Julian wants to stop for anything.
Julian will quickly look at the shops. What kind of shops are we passing?
There's a variety of things. You do see the couple of restaurants that you had seen last night. There's also a couple, as you're heading out there, it looks like there's one that's a little bit more for hunting gear, and then another one that's maybe a little bit more kind of odds and end tinkering type things. The first is the hunting party, and then the other one is Tony's Tinkered Things. As far as that, and then lodging, and then other restaurants that you saw on the previous night.
So Julian turns with a smirk, with a clear smirk, so it's supposed to be tongue in cheek, says,
"Well, seeing as how I'm paying for everything at the moment, do you need anything else?
Oh.
Whilst we're here."
Nope, I do not. And even at that mention, Belto is using prestidigitation, specifically the warm up to 1 cubic foot of non-living material for 1 hour on the food to keep it warm for the rest of the party.
Okay.
So that it doesn't cool and reheat afterwards.
Okay.
Okay. In which case, we'll move on.
All right. No sign of Nimfus just yet, but you're probably assuming that he's still with the Merc Guild and will probably come at his time. So you'll head out of Elks Point the way that you came in. Go ahead and roll a perception check, both of y'all.
Okay.
Oh, good. Thank you. About fucking time I got something half decent. I saw the 2 come up.
So Julian, being the expert kind of hunter that you are,
For once.
know exactly where you parked the carriage last night, the cart
I
last
think
night.
it was this way. Oh no, it's that way. Okay.
That way.
And
Okay.
about 30 minutes later, since I think it was about 30 minutes that you all took to get out, or 15, 30 minutes, you all find Wilrick sitting in the back, just dreaming about cheese and eating about cheese, and Silas there talking with Gerald.
Good to see you both, and Gerald Elwell.
Oh, hello.
We bring food.
Bucket.
Oh, hey.
Bucket.
Bucket.
I did my best to keep it warm. It cost a bit. I owe Julian a couple coins once we start making some of our own.
Oh, it's okay.
But-
I can give them to Julian.
Apologies for not a better transportation. Turns out Elt's Head is really the fancy place. One of the things in this was, I believe the waiter said quail eggs? I don't think I've ever encountered a quail.
I mean, I've had quail.
Just kind of looking into it.
I've had quail before, not the eggs, but
Well,
Yeah.
it was quail and eggs, not quail eggs.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. I mean,
It was quail with
Fair
a
enough.
boiled egg.
Gotcha.
okay. You could have quail eggs.
I don't think those things are native to the mountains.
I mean, a bird's a bird, so yum
Fair
yum.
enough.
Yum, yum.
But yeah, there's
Yum.
Belta really didn't even eat much of that, so like there's plenty of in there for the two of you to eat. Make sure you both have your portion to avoid the ration for you two for the day.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Belto. I'm gonna clap him on the shoulder.
Then Julian, he paid for it.
Julian's just a sugar daddy.
Sugar Daddy Wolf. Sugar Daddy Wolf shines again.
Okay.
But we do have some
Any-
news. And his paranoia is gonna look over his shoulder again, even though we've like the cart is supposed to be pulled off to the side. Just make sure there's nobody in earshot. If I may roll perception again at disadvantage.
You may. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So the 15. something.
Yeah, there's not folks on the trail at the moment. And you look into the forest, you can't see anybody.
Well, since we seem to have some privacy, and I assume you have not been disturbed.
Nah, that guy was sleeping the whole time.
Yeah.
Everything was where you found it and all? Good. Okay, they don't tell. All right. Very well. So, in regard, we did end up encountering Charis, thankfully. Julian made sure that I was witnessed, and I got to speak to Charis on my own outside. Wilrick,
Yes.
he had accusations of you making him lose his memory.
I did.
Excuse me?
The fuck?
Yeah. I'm not gonna hide it. I did.
Since when did you
Only
possess this ability?
it's not that major of a thing. It generally isn't.
A loss
You guys let me
of
go
memory
alone with
normally
it?
would be.
I'll pull out the rabbit's foot.
Oh no.
Obviously, it's only if I choose to do it. So I'll pull out like, yeah.
It's never been your choice before. It's usually just the first like once a day thing, as far as I remember, unless I'm misremembering.
Yeah, I think it's usually
No, he chooses
I
the
have a
target.
choice.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
because I know he did it to himself before. So, oh,
Well,
right.
he failed the roll.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm just like, it's a good thing this conversation was about an hour and a half ago.
Because
From the walking.
the foot works regardless. It's whether or not his basically directing the foot which target
Okay.
is successul or not.
I
If
mean,
it's
I'll
not,
put it
it's kind of
straight
random
back in
after
my
that.
pocket.
Thank you for the clarification. I apologize for misremembering. But I'm just like, he pulled it out. Oh no. He did it.
Well, so Ace wanted to make it originally that as long as he held it up, anyone who saw it forgot, but I
Gotcha.
changed it a bit.
Oh,
Balancing.
Yeah.
At this point, Julian turns directly to Zyth and goes,
Okay, what mystical power do you have then? Let's make it 4 for 4.
I can speak with dead people and learn their secrets.
I'm just gonna shrug and be like, "Hey, man, I don't know.
Anyway,
I got nothing."
Everyone's got secrets around here.
but
Suddenly.
it's good that we're being
Just
more
fling
honest
some food in my
because we're
mouth from the
trusting the
bucket.
group one another more. So, you say it's not a big deal, Wilrick, but because of that, he didn't give me much information. I had to tell him what Nazare told me of the mission, and what Charis did enlighten us to is that there have been an increase in the orc incursions, and the timing of them seems to line up with the interest in the rad shard growing in the region. So it's unconfirmed whether there is a direct correlation, but it almost seems like it could be either a distraction, is one of his theories, or it could be directly tied to the red shard, perhaps popping up somewhere.
Anyone else chiming in, or is it my point?
They're talking to you.
I mean, he is talking to you.
Well,
I'm talking to the group, but like my focus is on you, being like,
I'll just
we
say,
got limited information.
I'm sorry that was the adherence. I caused Silith to be taken. It's not the first time I've used it. If we're being fully honest, I don't.
Please.
You'll know. I
oh,
don't
if Ace was here.
Oh well, off
Everyone,
script.
staring
I
directly.
don't have the best memory. I'm trying to be better with what I know and how I do things.
Is the memory issue because of that?
I mean, are you
As far
using
as
it
I
on
know,
yourself?
And if it is, I really should stop using it. But it's been useful so far. I've used it once before on a kid. I accidentally let it slip that his father died in that tragic incident of the fires in the houses and the beasts. I used it once there. I'm not trying to be secretive about it. It's just a tool which I have, I can't remember when I've had it. I'm assuming I've had it since I knew my name. Other than that, I can't tell much.
Let me ask you this, Wilrick. Other than us right now, does anyone else know you have this?
No. I've not really met anyone else on my way, apart from you lot.
I meant anyone else in our party. Does anyone else know?
No. Only you three.
I think you should tell Nimfus too.
Agreed. I was about to say it myself if you didn't, Julian.
Well, we haven't had much of a conversation of my past, really. Despite me not knowing much of my own.
I think we've kind of got to the stage now in this group where we need to stop hiding things from each other. Our experience with the mercantility, we are not going to survive if we don't
ask any
start.
question. No, I'll answer. Any questions?
I mean, I wouldn't say it's that. I mean, I've got 1,000 questions. It's just we have to start trusting each other.
Why would I show you or tell you that I have this?
Why would you not tell us
I used it only in benefit of trying to find who Belto was looking for. I tried to act drunk. I thought I went a bit too far. I used it. I didn't realize there was another person. That's just my foolishness. That is it.
Be strategic with it. There is cleverness behind the forgetfulness.
In fairness, I can understand the drinking problems.
that life is above game. Also well above game. This is great, guys. Thank you all. This is a great scene. Perhaps considering we are all needing to be more forthright and upfront with each other, especially once Nimfus returns, we perhaps should spend a night or two by the campfire, and once we are certain we have isolation away from any observing eyes and ears, and have the whole band back together, as it were, all the bards in a single tavern, and go over our histories of what we do understand that was not just brought up in the meeting and with the council and such, to understand one another.
On one condition.
And that being?
You buy me quail. I like it now.
Oh fuck. Well, we need to make some money so I can pay you back.
I'm gonna hand Julian the bucket. Here, there's still some in
Quail!
Oh dear
Can the bucket
lord,
get
what have
stuck
we
on
caused?
Julian's head and he runs around like a dog with the bucket stuck?
Tom guide me.
Roll for dexterity.
Roll for adorableness.
Yes. Roll for animal handling.
Pretty much.
I got good stats in that.
Mm.
All right. Well, at this
Hold on, I have
point,
disadvantage.
It's true, yeah.
The food's all his.
at this point above game, we're at the point where you all can either have discussions that you want to have now before Nimfus comes back. At this point, we're just kind of shooting time until we bring Nimfus back.
That's good.
I mean, if we're gonna get deep, we might as well wait until Nimfus gets
We have to
back.
wait, yeah,
There's no point
get back.
just because we just have to repeat ourselves.
I think especially for lore and story and just all that.
yes.
Yep.
We're gonna have the net session after we travel a little bit away from. As far as I can tell, travel a little bit, get like a day or two away, start heading in that western path. Have the discussion because Belto's gonna like want to pull out the scroll and be like, "All right, what are we telling Nazare about this meeting?" And then after we send off that report, then just start being everything's gonna be unveiled that we all feel we can unveil.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then that'll wrap it up for this session. And we will be back again next week with Nimfus back in tow. More discussions to be had before the party departs the larger region of Elk's Point, we'll call it. Nice little lore bits for this time around. Some good rolls, some not so good rolls, but we'll see where it takes us next week. We got the audio working properly this time. Sorry for last week and the whole audio mess, but
Oh, and another session without audio. You
no,
need
it
to
had
have
audio. It had it
Oh.
6 different times.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Per source.
Well, yeah, each Skype source was everyone's audio instead of just their individual. So
Oh my
Dust and audio issues.
We were
Yes.
just
Never
stuck in
heard
the
of it
echo
before.
chamber that day.
It detrimented me.
I haven't
so much
uploaded
trying
it
to
yet.
figure out.
I haven't uploaded it yet.
I mean, we would never have audio issues that stuff didn't record, right, Dust? Never. They never happen.
Never. Of course, I have
Never,
I
no.
have no idea what you're talking about, Jack.
Nah, no clue. No clue.
I actually did watch that whole season again through last week because I wanted to.
Yeah, me too.
I forgot what we were how we got on the topic, but we were talking about
because we were
last
We were
session.
talking about last session.
Yeah, it's like I want to watch that again, so I watched the whole
Yeah,
thing.
me too. Yeah.
Nice.
So, yeah.
That last episode.
Yeah.
That episode 9, we did a good job with that.
Oh, episode 9 was great. Like episode 9 was very good. Very, very good. We wrapped that up beautifully.
We yeah, that was
We put a lovely little bow on it.
we did. All right. Well, thank you all for tuning in and watching. If you have no idea what we're talking about, youtube.com/thehalo, go find it. It's another project that we did. Yeah, we'll be back next week with Nimfus, assuming no call-outs or cancellations or whatnot. And we'll see you all next week. Bye.
Bye, streets.